Well, I've been kind of jonesing after the A7C again, but one thing that keeps holding me back is the image stabilization of that camera. And the reason I kind of am interested in it is because, of course, I have cameras that are bigger and better and do better things than the A7C, but the problem that I have is, once you pull out an A7 IV, once you pull out an A7S3, you instantly become the camera guy. And you always don't want to be labeled as the camera guy. You just want to be able to simply take some nice videos and photos of your family when you're on vacation. But, you don't want this giant rig, to have to look after, carry around. Everybody's kind of looking you over. Yeah, if you've used a bigger camera, you kind of know the feeling. You definitely stick out like a sore thumb, just like I'm doing now. So I wanted to come out to the botanical gardens here. I wanted to get about 10 minutes of footage and run it through Catalyst Browse. And I'm using the A7 IV here. I'm using the exact same settings that you can get out of A7C, just the old 8-bit footage, 100 megabits, all that stuff. And I wanted to run about 10 minutes of footage through Catalyst Browse with my new MacBook. Now my MacBook is a super spec'd out M1 Max, 16 gigabytes of memory, super duper version. So hopefully that'll cut down some of the time. But we're gonna run it through 10 minutes, and this is how long it takes for 10 minutes of video to be run through the Catalyst Browse program. Can I use that in my workflow or not? I don't know. And we're really going to put the Catalyst Browse stabilization to test. And we're going to walk across this, I don't know what you call it, but we're going to walk across and see how stable it is. There's lots of rope bridges and things like that. So we're going to take a little stroll across it, put it in Catalyst Browse, and see what it looks like at the end. One of the weaknesses that I saw of the 28 to 200 is when you're at 200 extended all the way out, there's no image stabilization in the lens, and the camera stabilization is not good enough to handle it. And I want to put it on. I'm going to zoom in all the way out to 200, see what the stabilization looks like then. So that's a pretty good representation of the type of videos I like to shoot. Just walking along, filming this, filming that, whatever. I think the A7C would be a great camera for that. Nice and small and compact. The question is, how big of a pain in the butt is Catalyst Browse going to be to get your footage stabilized? Over an hour to render 10 minutes worth of footage just seems absolutely ridiculous. And of course, it's not just, an hour of rendering time. You have to go through, if you want to change it just a little bit here and there. It's going to take, and just the actual process of going through the files and all that kind of stuff, it's going to take you, it takes much longer than an hour, more like 2 or 3 hours to do all that. So I don't know if that's going to be worth it or not for me to try the A7C. However, you're shooting that APS-C, Fujifilm, or whatever, and you take a look at those files and you're like, oh, those look pretty good. Then you get that full frame out, throw it down to 1.8, start looking at that, and you're like, oh, that's the reason I went to full frame. That's the reason I like full frame. So I think that the A7C is something I want to investigate a little bit further. I have one on order. We'll be taking a look at that here in the coming days. And again, like I say, it's a camera that I want to be my stealth camera. I've been using my Fuji XS10 for that. For a camera that I want to use when I don't want a gigantic rig to carry around. And I'm hoping the Sony A7C can be that camera for me in the full frame world, in the Sony world. So you can tell that the Catalyst Browse really does a great job of stabilizing the footage. getting to this point, getting to that footage, it's going to be a time-taking process, but it may be worth it in the end. I appreciate you watching the video. If you've liked it, please leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll show the rest of the videos now. Also, on this Manus pod, does anybody feel like I do? Like, you're supposed to be able to put it anywhere, hang it on anything. But I'll spend half my time looking forward to something to hang on and trying to figure it out than I do shooting. It seems to be more trouble than it's worth. I like the ball head and everything on it. It's nice and handy and secure, but as far as the Manus part of it, hanging it on stuff, you know, like they showed you in the YouTuber videos, I'm not so sure that's the case. And it needs to be about 4 inches longer, because when you set it on a table, it's not tall enough.